Good Friday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls. We had a gorgeous day today. Temperature-wise, we ended up topping out in the mid to upper 70s. And if you don't like the heat, you don't like humidity, hopefully you had an opportunity to enjoy it because we are cranking up the heat in a big way as we go into this upcoming weekend. Temperatures out there right now, most of us are sitting in the mid 60s. We're still holding on to low 70s here in the city. But as we go throughout the overnight hours tonight, temperatures are going to be dropping down into the low 60s for the city. But for those of you in the suburbs, going to be dropping down to the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, though, looks so good. Mid 80s expected, but you're going to start to notice that humidity building. We only drop back to the 70s on Saturday night, and then there you see it. We have 90s in the forecast by Sunday, and it doesn't stop there. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Tonight, the Bears gear up for a showdown in Indy. Loose with the team. We'll check the mood as excitement builds for the season.
Ink Up. A new survey reveals how many Americans have tattoos and how many regret it.
You won't regret getting outside this weekend. It's going to be hot, perfect weather for the Air and Water Show.
And this is it. Our last night with Corey. More of the tributes and more of that vintage video.
One more time. Fox 32 News at 9 starts now. A fire at a prominent Lakeview high-rise tonight leads to chaos for residents. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey McPherrin.
And I'm Dawn Hasbrook. Tia Ewing is live with more on the evacuations tonight. Tia.
Well, Melrose Avenue just opened up not too long ago. Majority of residents that live in this condominium building have been allowed back inside, but there is a growing number of residents outside of the building right now that are not being allowed to go back in. The Chicago Fire Department telling us they're not sure how much damage was done here, but what we do know is a male that lived inside of the unit that caught fire is in critical condition at Masonic Medical Center. Skyfox shows smoke billowing out of the Eddystone condominium building at 421 West Melrose in Lakeview. On the ground, you can see windows smashed out of this unit on the 14th floor where the fire started, a method in containing the blaze. In this video, you see the kitchen area has black soot coming out of the window.
At that point in time, they had not found her husband.
David Novak knows the husband and wife that live in the unit.
And I tried to comfort her, and I was glad to see the man. They're older folks.
A crowd gathered on the sidewalk as residents were forced to evacuate. David walked from the 7th floor wearing no shoes. 155 members of CFD, including firefighters and EMS, were on the scene at 5:29 in the evening. The unit where the fire started was a duplex that covered 2 floors.
We had companies remove the melt from the 14th floor, transport them to another company to the 12th floor, and then those other members brought them down and transport them over to the ambulance.
As for the man that lives in this unit, David says he hopes he makes a full recovery.
Within a few minutes, the husband was wheeled out on a stretcher. Looked to be okay, but I understand that he's got some smoke inhalation problems.
Now, we are being told by the Chicago Fire Department that this blaze was contained to the 14th floor and it remains under investigation. Live from Lakeview tonight, Tia Ewing, Fox 32 Chicago.
We're just here to enjoy, the last few days of summer, eat some good barbecue, and just, enjoy the weekend.
Sounds like a good plan. It's a perfect summer weekend to spend outside. From the grills to the skies, it will be sizzling.
Casey Cronus is live in North Center with the latest. She has the best assignment tonight. Casey.
Hey, Corey and Dawn, that's right. We are at Rib Fest where things are in full swing, and you know there is no shortage of good food here, but it's just one of many fun-filled events taking place in the city this weekend.
Because we're having a good time, having a good time.
Good weather and good food means Chicagoans are having a good time.
Well, how many would you like? One of each? I figured this is my very first time coming here, so we're excited.
Rib Fest on Lincoln Avenue has returned for its 23rd year.
We just came to eat, have a good time. It's a beautiful weather, so Chicago.
And festival goers have their eyes on the prize.
Definitely ribs, mac and cheese, and some cornbread.
Smokers are filled, grills are sizzling, with something for everyone.
It is an art, yeah.
Also an art, the formations, the flips, and the tricks seen across our skies during the Chicago Air and Water Show.
Oh my God, we love coming here. I could travel this way on buses, and here they go.
Featured this year are the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, their first time twisting and turning above our skyscrapers since 2018.
It's so exciting. I mean, it makes you feel like you get these butterflies in your stomach.
Like a roller coaster a little bit.
Pilots and parachuters are prepped after a full day of practice, captivating the audience, with many looking forward to coming back for more.
I love the fact that you can see someone from 2 years old to 92 years old enjoying it, even if they've been here 5 times.
The Air and Water Show takes place tomorrow and Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that is not all. Pilsen Fest is also taking place this weekend, along with Bulls Fest and Taylor Street's Little Italy Fest. Plus, tomorrow night, Chance the Rapper will take center stage at the United Center. Reporting live from Ribfest, Casey Cronin, Fox 32, Chicago.
2 young people are under arrest after a string of violent armed robberies on the north side. Detectives say the pair traveled through North Center and Lakeview in a car that was stolen out of a garage, robbing at least 7 people at gunpoint. One suspect had a handgun, the other a rifle. Each victim was outside walking when the suspects approached. The duo was caught by police around 3 this morning. A Chicago police officer arrested for allegedly sexually abusing a 17-year-old boy, now facing new charges. Sheriff Tom Dart says 30-year-old David DeLeon now faces child pornography, child sexual assault, and child sexual abuse charges. DeLeon was first arrested in March, accused of abusing a minor in Norridge. His phone was taken after that arrest, and officials found evidence of him abusing minors on his phone. Investigators say they learned he met the victims while working as a CPD officer. He is being held without bond.
Lawsuits involving allegations of sexual abuse against Michael Jackson have been brought back. A California appeals court found that the lawsuit should not have been dismissed by a lower court, and that 2 men who brought the accusations can claim that the Jackson-owned companies named as defendants in those lawsuits had a responsibility to protect them.
Former Bears defensive end Robert Quinn has been arrested in South Carolina. TMZ reporting he has been booked for a hit-and-run and assault charges. TMZ says police documents show officers believe Quinn hit 4 cars in a neighborhood, and they found an almost empty bottle of alcohol in his trunk. Quinn was on the Bears last year before being traded to the Eagles.
The Chicago Blackhawks Foundation is getting in on the back-to-school excitement for students on the west side. Because CPS students go back to school on Monday, tomorrow's event is right on time, and they call it Right Back At Ya. The Blackhawks Foundation will be giving away school supplies, haircuts, eye screenings, and more tomorrow at Fifth Third Arena starting at 11 a.m.
We're really looking forward to it. It's our Right Back At Ya, our 2nd annual back to school takeover at Fifth Third Community Ice Arena. And it's our partnership with Community Goods and Joe Fresh Goods. We're going to be welcoming over 500 6th to 12th grader students from our West Side school partners.
It's designed to be a fun and free shopping experience where students can choose the school supplies that they need. Parents on the west side can register for this event through their child's school. America is putting on the ink. You may have noticed more people sporting tattoos. Well, a fascinating study from Pew Research shows 1 in 3 Americans now has one. That includes almost half of people in their 30s or 40s. And in the study, way more women than men have ink. By far, the #1 reason is to honor or remember someone. And about 1 in 4 people say they regret getting the tattoo. Well, the buzz is building over the Chicago Bears.
That's right. They're in Indy tonight ahead of tomorrow's preseason matchup with the Colts. Our Luke Canellis is, of course, with the team. Linebacker T.J. Edwards told him one word can describe these Bears.
Just the hunger. I mean, I feel like we go out there every day. No one's complacent about a thing.
And much more from Lou ahead later in sports. And, of course, we are your home of the Bears. And you can see tomorrow night's game right here on Fox 32. The Bears and the Colts pregame coverage starts at 5. Kickoff is at 6.
And we're not done with the Bears yet. Today, the women took the field.
The Chicago Bears not only focusing on their game against the Colts this weekend, but also helping young girls succeed on the gridiron. That story from Hallis Hall up next.
And a very special honor for a World War II veteran on his 104th birthday. A gift from a man who reports directly to the president.
Comfort amid the chaos. Some emotional support headed to Maui as the island works to recover from devastating wildfires.
Plus a view from above. Satellite shows us what Hurricane Hillary looks like as it swirls in the Pacific.
I'm making history at this point. It's something crazy to think about. Like, you would never really think you're making history in high school, but you are.
Oh, yeah, they are. More than 800 high school girls will hit the football field tomorrow as the Chicago Bears host the annual Jamboree this weekend.
Tonight, women's flag football star Deanna Flores speaking to young athletes at Hallis Hall. And that's where Elizabeth Matthews spent the day.
The room was filled with about 30 local athletes and one global flag football superstar. The girls inspired to continue making history.
I feel free playing it, being with the team, thinking the same, having to think the same as your teammates, having the same play. You're just one.
Friday night, a star flag footballer came to visit the next generation at Hallis Hall.
Right now, to be here around all of these girls that already are crushing it in flag football and have big dreams in this sport, it is just amazing.
Deanna Flores is quarterback of the world champion Mexico national flag football team and shared some advice to the crowd.
Believe that you already have everything you need inside you to be successful.
The Chicago Bears supporting this sport from the beginning, partnering with Chicago Public Schools in 2021.
It's only the second year this is something so big, so I'm really honored.
And in those 2 years, the number of teams has gone from 22 to more than 100 in Northern Illinois. Greg Taylor's from Rockford and has coached boys all his life.
I never thought it would happen.
Already this fall, 38 girls have signed up to play for him.
I love it. I love it because it's another opportunity for young ladies to get a scholarship and have another interest once they get to school.
Saturday morning, 42 teams, 800 girls will participate in the Flag Football Jamboree. With the interest increasing, the IHSA might even make it an official sport by next year.
There's always the guys first. They have the turf over us having the turf. Soccer boys, football boys. I mean, I'm okay with playing in the grass, but I'm just here to do my job.
The Jamboree begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow at Englewood STEM High School. At Hallis Hall, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
For the first time in his presidency, Joe Biden is hosting a Camp David summit. The last time the retreat was used to host heads of state was in 2015 when President Obama convened Gulf cooperation nations. This time, the White House is hoping to use the historic summit to urge Japan and South Korea to turn the page on their difficult history and commit to bolstering security ties together. A judge is dismissing some charges against the president's son, Hunter. The charges were for failing to pay taxes on time in 2017 and 2018 and were filed as part of his now defunct plea deal. They were dismissed by special counsel David Weiss. Closing the book on that case enables him to pursue new charges in California or Washington, D.C. IRS whistleblowers told Congress they recommended charging the president's son with 6 felonies.
As Maui residents pick up what's left of their possessions, the finger pointing over what went wrong continues. Hawaii's Attorney General is ordering an investigation into how state and local agencies prepared for and responded to the devastating fires. A Lahaina landowner says the State Water Commission initially denied an emergency request to move more water into the city water supply, which feeds the fire hydrants. When the approval finally came through, the company says it was too late. Officials say so far, about 60% of the burn area has been searched.
A lot of us haven't even had time to grieve. I mean, we're just slowly getting out of the survivor mode.
The ATF National Response Team is looking into the cause of the fire. The four-legged hometown heroes out of Northbrook-based Lutheran Church Charities has a team of comfort dogs, and they are on standby and ready to serve in response to the disaster. For now, the Lutheran Church organization that serves Hawaii invited 3 members of the LCC's disaster response ministry to support the needs of the people in Maui. They reached Maui.
I would say that in terms of what we're seeing in people's faces, there's no doubt we're seeing a lot of tears. I'd say that we're seeing some disbelief and shock. but I'm really amazed and actually heartened and encouraged to see the beautiful and what I would say is a strong aloha feeling that you just know Hawaii is known for.
Reverend Singer said in addition to prayers and well wishes, financial support for any of the more than 100 volunteer organizations working on the ground in Maui is making a huge difference.
A tropical storm watch issued in Southern California for the first time as the region braces for Hurricane Hillary. The storm is churning in the Pacific and predicted to intensify overnight. Forecasters say it will weaken into a tropical storm before hitting California, but it will still pack a heavy punch for San Diego and Orange counties. Officials warning folks to brace for heavy rain, flash flooding, and wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour.
I mean, a lot of people here are excited because the waves are going to get pretty heavy, but I mean, it's going to be some rain, so usually there's some flooding and the landslides and things like that.
Officials are warning folks to brace for heavy rain, flash flooding, and wind gusts, as we said, of up to 60 miles an hour. And look at this. Hurricane Hillary emerges from just over the horizon.
This time-lapse footage taken from the International Space Station was recorded yesterday when the storm was a Category 2. It has since strengthened to Category 4, according to the National Hurricane Center. The National Weather Service predicts Hillary will be a tropical storm when it reaches the San Diego area on Monday. And Emily has been watching that and our forecast. She joins us now.
Yeah, so that view that you were just looking at from space, that really gives you a good idea of just the scope of this thing. It's massive, and you can see this really well-defined eye wall. And what that means is typically you have a really strong storm. As you just heard, this is now a Category 4 storm with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour. As of right now, this storm has everything it needs to continue to intensify for the next 10 hours or so, and then we're going to start to see this thing weakening. So that's a really good thing, and I'll show you why. So as this continues to make its way further off to the north and the west, right now it's over waters that are in the mid-80s. That can definitely fuel a hurricane. But the further north that this thing moves, it's going to be moving into waters that are only in the 70s for sea surface temperatures, and that cannot maintain hurricane strength status. So this is going to continue to weaken as it's approaching Baja California Peninsula. It's likely going to be a Category 1, then moving into Southern California as a tropical storm. But that's still going to lead to a lot of flooding and likely some devastation there. Back to you.
All right, Emily, thanks. Up next, all eyes on Fulton County, Georgia.
Former President Trump set to turn himself into authorities within a week.
Former President Trump has exactly 1 week to surrender here in Atlanta, but the district attorney and the sheriff says this time he won't be getting special treatment. I'm Caroline Elliott, and I'm coming up with a live report here next on Fox 32 Chicago.
A nightmare commute in New York City. See the Lincoln Tunnel filled with smoke.
And something new from Lamborghini. The luxury car maker reveals what it has been working on. Former President Trump is preparing to surrender in Atlanta on 13 counts related to election interference.
The Fulton County District Attorney gave Trump and 18 other accused co-conspirators until next Friday to turn themselves in. Fox's Caroline Elliott is in Atlanta tonight with more on how this surrender could be different than the others.
Well done, Corey. Trump has already been indicted in 3 other jurisdictions, but Fulton County might switch things up. You mentioned Trump has until next Friday to turn himself in, but Fulton County prosecutors say that arraignment won't happen until the week of September 5th. What's also different is the Fulton County Sheriff's Office says Trump will be treated as any other defendant, which theoretically would include a fingerprint and mugshots. The sheriff says the jail is open 24/7 and defendants can turn themselves in at any time. We asked the district attorney's office and Trump's team when exactly he might surrender. We haven't heard any details yet, but the jail has already increased security. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office says it's received threats since the indictment as Trump continues to attack the investigation.
It's a witch hunt. It's just a continuation of a witch hunt. They want to silence you. They want to silence you, and they mean silence. They are, I think they're sick people. I think they are people that have no idea how the world works.
Well, Trump faces a long list of criminal charges here in Georgia, now has exactly 1 week to surrender in Atlanta. In Atlanta, Caroline Elliott, Fox 32 Chicago.
Coming up next, a life of patriotism. We join the salute of a World War II veteran's 104th birthday. And Kid Rock called out after notoriously shooting up a case of Bud Light. The star is seen with an open can in his hand. And join our final send-off to our anchor. Corey says goodbye. Don't go anywhere.
End zone, Cole Kmet, touchdown, a Sunday stroll for Justin Fields. Excellent diving play.
The Bears take on the Colts Saturday at 6 p.m. on Fox 32 Chicago. Brought to you by Advocate Healthcare.
Fox 32 Chicago, your home of the Bears.
Right now at 9:26, Bears in Indy for some preseason fun. We sent Lou to check it out.
Not so electric. The Ford CEO shares some mixed feelings about the vehicles of the future.
We're here to celebrate your birthday.
Oh my God.
Correct.
It's something very special when somebody turns 104 years old.
And when that person is an honored veteran of World War II, the birthday party takes on even more meaning. Scott Schneider joins us now in the studio.
Yeah, Donna and Corey, it's a sad truth that every day we lose another man or woman who belonged to the so-called greatest generation. At last count, there were just over 6,000 World War II veterans still alive in Illinois. Today, one of the oldest was honored right here in Chicago.
I'm 104.
You're 104.
Yeah, born July 20, 1919.
Exactly.
Army veteran and current patient at Jesse Brown VA Hospital in Chicago, John Jones, may be a bit forgetful about how many candles should be on the birthday cake, but there's no question as to who gets credit for his longevity.
I don't think I've ever spoken to somebody who's 104 years old.
Oh, all you gotta do is you lay down and get up.
So actually, that was going to be one of my questions. What's your secret?
God.
God. All right.
Today's party favors included the aforementioned cake and some birthday swag, as well as a keepsake from the head of Veterans Affairs, who reports directly to the president.
We have a letter from the Secretary of the VA congratulating you on your 104th birthday. And he actually wrote, I know that this is all typed, but he wrote personally, happy birthday at the bottom there.
And of course, the icing on the cake, the adoration from those in attendance.
Happy birthday to you.
Now, if you know someone here in Illinois who served in World War II and wish to ensure that their contributions are never forgotten, you are encouraged to visit the Illinois Veterans History Project online or through the state library system.
Boy, love that story. All right, weather, Emily is here. And you know, I was thinking, this is the final forecast you will do with me on the desk.
Oh, goodness.
What if you, I'm not going there.
Okay,
All I'm just
don't
thinking
go
is,
there yet.
could you come up with a forecast, let's say, with no rain for a week?
Hey, you know, I think for you, you got
You can make that happen?
I can make that happen. Yeah, so the next week around here, it's really going to be very dry across the region. Good news, though, as far as the drought monitor is concerned, with the latest data that came out yesterday, we've actually seen a really big improvement. So many locations are no longer even considered to be abnormally dry, so things are looking good. High temperatures today, we made it into the mid to upper 70s, so felt really good, and hopefully you had a chance to enjoy it if you don't like the heat and humidity, because here is what is on the horizon. So your 5-day forecast, tomorrow we're going to be in the mid 80s, low 90s then on Sunday, but that 92, once you factor in the heat and humidity, it's actually going to be feeling more like the mid to upper 90s. We'll get a brief break come Monday, but then the 90s, those are going to return on Tuesday and Wednesday. Next week, I think at this point, it's looking like the hottest days are going to be here on Wednesday and Thursday, with both of those days likely being in the mid 90s. So the satellite and radar, things are really quiet for us this evening. We have clear, calm conditions overhead, just a couple clouds continuing to sink off toward the south. Now, Futurecast taking us through tonight, we have high pressure that's in control of our weather pattern. That's going to begin to sink off toward the southeast, but we stay mostly clear tonight. And our wind speeds, those are going to be out of the southeast tonight. But tomorrow, they're going to flip around to be out of the southwest. So that's kind of bringing in some of that warmer air for us to work with. Keep in mind that humidity, that is going to be increasing this upcoming weekend too. Now, moving along to Saturday night and Sunday. I know I just mentioned it's going to get hotter, right? Well, you're probably seeing this cold front thinking, okay, that's going to cool us down. No, it's not. Nope, not at all. There's not a cool air mass on the backside of that. We'll go ahead and call this a barely cool front that's still going to be bringing in some really hot air for us on Sunday. So temperatures on Sunday going to be making it into the low 90s. But the dew point temperatures, we have to talk about those because they're going to make a really big difference when we're talking temperatures in the 90s. Dew point temperatures on Sunday will be rising into the 70s. And to put that number in perspective, anytime dew points are in the upper 60s, that's when you're starting to feel pretty uncomfortable. It's feeling muggy outside. Once you get in the 70s, that's when it just feels kind of awful. So that's what it's going to be feeling like on Sunday. Right now, southeasterly winds 7 miles per hour. Dew point temperatures today are in the 40s. That's why it felt so good. It almost kind of felt like a fall-like day. So your temperatures currently, we're already dropping down to 59 degrees in Gary, 63 in Joliet, 64 in Aurora, 63 in Waukegan. For tonight, we're dropping down to about 61 degrees in the city, but the suburbs going to be dropping down into the mid to upper 50s. So the 7-day forecast, the air and water show looks safe from any raindrops. No issues there. We're not going to see any delays in the show like we did last year. 85 degrees on Saturday, 92 on Sunday, Monday, a little bit of relief. And then the rest of the week, it stays hot in the 90s. But next weekend, so taking you beyond the 7-day, that's when we finally drop back down to the 70s and 80s. Don and Corey.
Emily, thank you. And still ahead, controversy for Kid Rock.
He took a bold stand against a beer company a few months ago. Now see what he was caught on camera drinking recently that is sending mixed messages.
Trouble in the tunnel in New York City. What caused a frightening situation for commuters this evening.
And killing the buzz about electric. Here are some interesting comments from the CEO of Ford. A car fire in the Lincoln Tunnel under New York's Hudson River. It temporarily closed all lanes in the North Tube heading toward New Jersey tonight during rush hour. Take a look. This is video from a passenger on a bus inside the tunnel. Crews have cleared that vehicle and all lanes have since reopened. It's unclear how it started and there are no reports of injuries at this time. A singer who riddled cases of Bud Light with bullets months ago was apparently seen with a can of it last night. TMZ reports Kid Rock was at a country music concert in Nashville with a blue can in his hand. In early April, Kid Rock used an AR-style rifle to destroy cans of the beer in protest of Bud Light's hiring a trans influencer for a social media campaign.
Charging has been pretty challenging. I went to a low-speed charger. It took me about 40 minutes to get 40%, but it was a really good reality check, the challenges of what our customers go through.
And that's the CEO of Ford, admitting it isn't exactly easy taking a road trip in an electric pickup truck. The comments came after a man named Dalbir Bala said he had to ditch his F-150 Lightning during a family road trip to Chicago because he couldn't find a working charging station. Bala said the EV trip also got real pricey.
I was under impression that the charging would be cheaper than gas, but my first shock was that it was way more expensive than gas.
Ford recently shifted its timeline for its electric vehicle production goals. Lamborghini unveiled its first all-electric car in California today. The Lanzador has high ground clearance and 2+2 seating. Lamborghini says the concept represents a new segment they're calling the Ultra GT and gives an idea of what they'll build in 2028. The Italian company's emblem is a raging bull. It uses Spanish words related to bullfighting in naming its cars. Much more ahead on the news at 9, including a look at sports.
I'm Cassie Carlson. The Cubs trying to hang on to the final wild card spot in the National League, and Bears starters won't be playing in the preseason game tomorrow, but the team still learned plenty during joint practices. Lou has the details coming up next in sports.
All right, welcome back. Busy week in sports with the Bears down in Indy.
And Cubs fans have had plenty to be happy about as they're in the push for the postseason. Cassie is here with sports.
Yeah, that walk-off winner in the Crosstown Series was truly a storybook ending. The Northsiders hoping that's just a chapter in the book of the 2023 season. A story of a team who had the worst record in the National League in the month of May and now holds the final wild card spot with just 44 games to go. Cubs hosting the Royals today. They're the second worst team in baseball, but Casey was up 2-0 in the fourth. Runners on corners for Jamer Candelario. He grounds one pass short to drive in a run. The Cubs cut the lead in half. Later in the inning, bases loaded for Christopher Morel. This has to be good. He bounces it to third. The throw to first gets away. Tying run, scores, makes it a 2-2 game. After that, Nico Horner setting one up the middle, another RBI single. The Cubs take a 3-2 lead, but in the sixth, Bobby Witt Jr. takes Jameson Taillon deep to left center for a 2-run shot. The Royals take game one, 4-3 final. Let's go to the White Sox and Rockies. Eloy Jimenez placed on the paternity list ahead of the series. Elvis Andrus leading off. He swings at the first pitch of the game from Jimmy Lambert's brother, Peter Lambert. Andrus goes yard, and the White Sox up 1-0 early. Rockies respond in the bottom of the inning. Ezequiel Tovar takes Michael Kopech deep for a 2-run homer. The Rockies go up 2-1, and they keep building the lead in the first. Elias Diaz makes it 5-1 with a line drive laser over the wall and left. It is currently now 13-1 Rockies in the 7th inning. Joint practices are over, but the Bears still have one more thing to do in Indy, and that is a preseason game that will give plenty of players a chance to prove they deserve a roster spot. Luke Canellis is in Indy with more on what the Bears learned about their team during joint practices with the Colts.
Bears making Indy their second home here since Tuesday. Joint practices with the Colts Wednesday and Thursday, and a preseason game on Saturday night. Matt Eberflus loved the joint practices with the Colts. Said he got so much accomplished, felt like he actually played 2 preseason games. So Justin Fields and select starters are getting Saturday night off. The 5-day, 4-night stay, great for team bonding. What did TJ Edwards learn about this squad?
Just the hunger. I mean, I feel like we go out there every day. No one's complacent about a thing. You know, no one's satisfied with what happened the day before. It's, you know, you wake up where we got the music going in the hotel. Everyone's jumping around. So it's a great environment to be around, and it makes you, honestly want to play better for the guy next to you.
I mean, the enthusiasm, the foundation that, Flus and Allen, let, the leadership kind of grow and put down the foundation from Tremaine, TJ, JJ, Jalen Johnson, and Bo. We're all, have that, that love and that passion.
Sitting the starters gives the coaches a chance to play some of the younger guys. Remember, this is a young roster. 44 of the 90 players on the Bears roster, either rookies, first-year, or second-year players. Also gives guys like Trevis Gibson another chance to get on the field and wreak havoc. Reporting from Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm Luke Canellis, Fox 32 Sports.
All right, thanks, Lou. You can see tomorrow night's game right here on Fox 32 Chicago. It's the Bears and Colts. Our pregame coverage starts at 5. Kickoff is at 6. Let's go to the second round of the BMW Championship at Olympia Field. Rory McIlroy and Brian Harman shared the lead heading into the day. McIlroy there with a little bug on his ball. Making a friend. Harman on the par 4 second. He's in the bunker, but holes out for birdie. That moves him to 6 under. Chris Kirk having himself a day. On the par 4 third, watch this approach shot. He places it so close to the pin. He plays a bogey-free round. He's 4 under 66, hanging on to the lead up until this. Max Homa made the turn, and he did this on 14, draining the birdie putt to take sole possession of the lead. He birdied 6 holes on the back 9. He shot an 8 under 62. That is a course record and ties his career low. He has a 2-shot lead heading into moving day. Bill Self will return to Champaign with Kansas Hoops for an exhibition game against the Illini on October 29th. The game will raise money for victims of the Maui fires, and MLB has rescheduled 3 Sunday games in California as Hurricane Hillary approaches. It could also affect the Saints-Chargers preseason game at SoFi Stadium on Sunday night, too.
Okay, lots going on. Hey, real quick, what's the thing about the Bears you're most excited about that you've seen so far during camp?
I think the obvious chemistry between Justin Fields and DJ Moore, and I'm actually really excited about the secondary. They're young, but I think they got a lot of juice and talent on that team.
Good to hear. Look forward to tomorrow night's game. Thanks, Cass.
When we come back, a special project we've been working on all summer. We get a look back at Corey's career and share what he truly means to us. He's witnessed the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. From both the sports chair and the news chair, we're talking about our beloved Corey. Corey McPherrin anchors his last show tonight. Nate Rogers takes a look back at his storied career.
Here's to you, Corey, from Hillcrest High School to New Orleans to New York and all points in between. You've been a credit to the industry, and I'm proud to call you a friend.
He's had a familiar face and perspective in Chicago for more than 3 decades. Fox 32's Corey McPherrin now headed for retirement.
Hey, Corey. I can't believe you're retiring. I thought you retired years ago, dude, after I left Chicago.
Hey, on behalf of all the front office people in Chicago, sports, have a great retirement. You did a wonderful job here in representing all the stations that you did.
When a guy like Eric Clapton calls you the greatest living guitarist, what does that mean to you?
It means that whenever someone come watch me play who never heard of me, I better play.
The same guy you see on TV, he's that and more in person.
Including my 84-year-old dad, who is celebrating tonight.
Funny, compassionate, always tuned in, and homegrown.
The pride and joy of Hillcrest High School, Markham, Illinois. You are the man.
Good luck in the next adventure. It's so exciting you get to call your own shot here. But remember, it's time to put the makeup away.
Hey, Corey, you know, back in the day, our rivalries were vicious and nasty, but it's so great now that we can sit down and laugh about them. Really value your friendship, man. You're the best. Did you get that on a 2-shot?
Corey McPherrin, Channel 6, person-to-person.
Corey's TV career began in the late 1970s, first in Davenport, Iowa. He also worked at news stations in New Orleans, Denver, and Atlanta.
Today's the day to show it to you. And I got to tell you,
Corey, it's been such a privilege working with you. You just make every day so fun.
I have learned a ton from you. I know everyone around me has learned a ton from you. You're going to be sorely missed.
And this is a real special poster, isn't it, Mick? What's different about this one?
In 1984, Corey became the top sports anchor at WABC in New York City. In 1991, he made it back home to Chicago, CBS 2 News.
We're live with Michael at Michael Jordan's restaurant. That sounds good, huh?
Then in 1995, Corey joined WFLD Fox 32 as our lead sports anchor.
Let me tell you, I'm happy to be here. And I looked over, I saw how much fun you guys were having here, and I said, why not?
There's not that many guys I know in my life who literally have lived their dream. And you did it 30 years. Amazing career. So proud of you.
Corey, you are the wind beneath my wings. You're the ultimate GOAT. You've always been the glue that has held this team together. I'll be forever grateful for your friendship and your generosity. Love ya.
Career highlights include reporting on the field in Houston in 2005 when his beloved White Sox won the World Series. Corey transitioned from sports to news in 2010 and became evening anchor in 2017.
And we began with our record-setting heat. Good evening. I'm Corey McPherrin.
And I'm Dawn Hasbrook. We've been partners for 13 years now, so I'm very sad to see you go. But I also know that you're going to have such a great time in retirement and spend time doing all the things you love.
Corey, you've been such a joy to work with. The energy that you bring each and every day is just so positive to the newsroom. It's undeniable. Thank you for taking me under your wing. You've made me comfortable since day one.
A mentor and ambassador for students at Butler University, a TV legend, but friend and dad are his best titles. Corey takes great pride in being a family man.
We're going to miss your passion, we're going to miss your sense of humor, and we're going to miss your commitment. And on behalf of all of us at Fox 32, even though you're a Sox fan, we're going to miss you. Congratulations and all the best in the future.
Okay, where's the Kleenex?
I know.
Yeah. Well, thanks for putting that together. That was something else. I wasn't quite prepared for that. And it just brings a lot of memories back. And a couple things in there that we saw, the one moment in the 2005 World Series celebration where I talked about my father and started choking up a little bit, and that probably is the one thing that got more of a response than anything I've ever done. Didn't mean to do it, it just happened, and people still talk about it to this day, and it was an amazing experience to be there at all, but for that to happen and that to still be around is neat. But all the people who had those wonderful sentiments, I appreciate it. I've loved, you know, this has been something I grew up
looking at everyone else.
Yeah, I was a kid, and like any kid in the 60s, you loved TV.
Yeah.
Everybody did, and I gravitated to watching the TV news with my parents, with my family, and I was just enamored with watching Floyd Kalber and Fahey Flynn and a young Bill Curtis and Johnny Morris and Brent Musburger, and it just goes on and on and on. I watched those people and the way they worked, and I loved everything about the city of Chicago, the architecture, the lakefront, the energy, the hustle and bustle. And I thought to myself, wow, is there a way to maybe someday be a part of that?
And here you are.
And it happened.
Does it feel weird to be called a legend?
Yeah, that's silly. I feel uncomfortable about that. But but the idea that 32 years in one spot, I mean, that's a long time, and I'm proud of it. And there's nothing. I mean, you talk about having a dream and having it fulfilled. I can't imagine anything more than what's happened.
Yeah.
And
well, you're deserving of all of this.
Well,
and we're gonna still say one more goodbye.
Okay. All right.
After this.
That's so silly, news legend.
We keep running your promos, but it's appropriate.
No, it
46 years. And we are so sad to see you go, but we know this is going to be a great time for you to relax and hang out and try not to talk. It's very hard for many of us who've been with you for so long. You are such a great colleague and a better friend. Just being able to chat with you every day about life, not to mention the business and just everything that you've learned and everything you know about the business that you are able to tell us about, you know, as people coming up in it. And we're going to miss that on a daily basis. We're going to miss the jokes and the funny stories, and you're just so witty and you get everything when we crack our jokes, and we're gonna miss that. You know, it's a loss for us. It's like losing a part of our family, but we know that you'll be in touch because we'll harass you if you aren't. We just won't wake you up early to talk to you and text you and ask you questions.
I'm still available, you know? I'm on call.
You're still alive.
I just don't have to show up every day. That's all, right?
But you deserve it. You deserve this time with your family, and we're so happy that you're able to do it, you know, when you're ready.
Well, I'm too. Thanks for those kind words. I have a lot of people to thank too, and we've got Marissa Rubino, our 9 p.m. producers, here on one side of the set, who's done such a nice job. Emily, who's made such a fantastic impression in her first 2 years here, and it's been a delight to work with you. And nothing but the best. You've got a great future, and we all know that. Dawn, I mean, come on. We go back to Good Day Chicago days and the early mornings, which we're both glad we got out of. Cassie, it's great to get to know you, and thanks for everything you've done. And you've helped my Butler class a couple times, and that's great. Natalie showed up. Natalie Popke, everybody. Beautiful. She's not mic'd up. She cannot speak. And Scott is here, too. Scott will be filling in right here in this seat on Monday, right?
You know, I had the pleasure of succeeding you on Good Day Chicago. I'll be doing it again. I think following in your footsteps will be, you know, part of my career. And I think my former colleague Anita Padilla said it best when we talk about Corey McPherrin, it's gravitas. And I could never replace you, but I'm honored to succeed you.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, but you're going to be great. And I'm going to watch from the couch. In my shorts, flip-flops, and T-shirt. But I probably have 3 different groups to thank. First of all you guys, and what people at home hopefully know is it's not just those of us that you see on camera that count. It's Marissa, it's Jim Selly I see over here, our news director Matt Piacenti is in the room, and everybody else. And they're the ones that make us look good. And thanks to all of you for what you do each and every day. I'm going to miss that, the collaboration, the cohesiveness that we have as a staff here is a blast to be a part of. And all the other people I work with over the years who aren't here tonight, from Robin Robinson to Mark Sapelsa to Walter. I mean, I could name them all, but I don't have the time. The second group of people I wanted to just thank quickly, the viewers. And the last few days, it has been remarkable. I mean, I've never retired before, so I didn't know what to expect. But the kind of responses that I've seen, gotten on social media, texts, emails, phone calls, I am blown away. I think sometimes we plow forward and work so hard and just get after it that sometimes you aren't looking around and realize that maybe you have made a little bit of a mark or made a little bit of a difference. And I'm blown away by it, and I appreciate the sentiments and the kind words that you've passed along. It really means a lot. And thirdly, I want to thank my family and friends who have supported me, many of whom are right here. Let's hear it. Family and friends.
Yes.
My wife Tracy is there, my daughter Margaret. Give us a wave, Mark. And my son Jack, she's too embarrassed. My son Jack, my brother Mike and his wife Wendy, and everybody else in that group, a few of whom have been with me since grade school. And you guys have been, at times, my inspiration. You've supported me, encouraged me, and been there in good times and in bad. So I love you all, and thanks for being here tonight. And thanks for being there the whole way. And I really appreciate it. I think the final thing would just be that, you know, for me, this has not been a job in the sense that it's a chore. It's been a labor of love. I mean, I never come to work and say, God, I got to go to work.
No.
That's just not, I don't think any of us are like that, right?
Nope.
And that's what keeps us coming back, and that's what enables you to stay in a market for 32 years, maybe, I don't know. But, so I wouldn't say I'm sad that it's over. I am just thrilled that it happened.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. So thanks to you and thanks to everybody.
Well, thank you, Corey.
Are we done?
You're the best. We'll miss you. You're done.
We love you so much.
Thank you for watching.
We appreciate it, and we'll see you down the road.